Hello everyone, my name is Jigdish. In today's session, we would study about the Bragg spectrometer and the powder crystal method. First, we have to know, what is a Bragg spectrometer method? So here the Bragg spectrometer method is used for studying the crystals using the X-rays. So Braggs are nothing but these are the two scientists who worked together to find out the X-ray diffraction method. So that is a W.L. Bragg and W.H. Bragg. So those two are the son and father. So those two scientists or crystallographers used to use this method to find out the crystal structure. And the Bragg spectrometer is a device that is used to find the lattice spacing of a crystal using the X-ray diffraction. In a crystal structure, there are number of lattice planes are arranged parallel to each other. So in such cases, the distance between the two planes, so we can take it as a d, that the interplanar spacing can be find out by using the Bragg spectrometer. Some of the requirements for this Bragg spectrometer is X-ray tube. So X-ray tube is which is used to produce the X-rays, and slits, and a crystal sample, rotating table, ionization chamber which is filled with a methyl bromide solution, and a galvanometer to record the reading. So this is the picture of the Bragg spectrometer and how it works. So we have to see. So in this Bragg spectrometer, so we are observing that this is the X-ray tube. So this X-ray tube is used to produce the X-rays, and that is the X-rays are produced in all the directions. So it is made monochromatic by using the filters, and after it made to fall on the slits S1 and S2. After passing through this slits S1 and S2, it made to fall on the crystal, that is C. So C is a crystal. When a narrow beam of X-rays is allowed to fall on this crystal, which is mounted on a rotating table, the rotating table is provided with a scale and vernier arrangements. So here the angle of incidence or the glancing angle can be measured. So with this angle, that is theta. So theta is the glancing angle. So in between the crystal and the X-rays. And after this, whenever this X-rays falls on the crystal, so it interacts with the atoms in the crystal. It falls on the crystal lattice planes, so which are parallel to each other. So and works on this works on the principle of Bragg's law diffraction condition. This is the condition for diffraction of X-rays, that is Bragg's law, which says that 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda, where d is the spacing between the two lattice planes. So here we have represented the number of lattice planes here, and this is the distance between the two lattice planes d we have taken. That is theta is the glancing angle or the angle of incidence. Here the angle of incidence and the angle of reflections both are equal. So and lambda is the wavelength of the X-rays, where ns order of diffraction. Here whenever the X-rays falls on the lattice planes, so it passes through several layers. Whenever the X-rays falls on the crystal, it passes through certain layers or the lattice planes, so which is inside, it is shown here, and it falls on the atoms. The atoms absorbs the energy and re-emits in the opposite direction or in the particular direction which is shown here. So here this is nothing but it is called as the reflection. Whenever this satisfies this condition, then only the X-ray diffraction occurs. And so we have shown that the condition for diffraction of X-rays, this must be satisfied. After the diffraction, the X-rays emits in all the possible direction, but only certain very high intensity X-rays are passed through this ionization chamber. So whenever the X-rays enters into this ionization chamber, which contains the methyl bromide solution, So it means that there is a positive and negative ions are get separated, and the positive and negative ions are enters into the circuit. So then the positive ions goes here and negative ion goes here. So here it is connected to a galvanometer which shows the deflection. The deflection of the galvanometer is completely depend on the intensity of the X-rays. So whenever the deflection is more, the intensity of the X-ray emitted is also more, and the glancing angle is also the same as this reflected angle. So where theta and thetas are equal. So whenever these two thetas are equal, only those X-rays will enter the ionization chamber and produces current, and that is recorded in the galvanometer. Here, so this is the working of this Bragg spectrometer. By rotating the Bragg spectrometer, by changing the glancing angle, this is one theta. By rotating this, so we can take many readings, and we can find out the exact crystal structure of this. Now for different angle of incidence, the corresponding ionization current is measured from the electrometer. So these values are plotted in the graph. So this can be analyzed to get the crystal structure. So next is the method of X-ray diffraction. Here we already studied about the X-ray diffraction. What are the requirements for the X-ray diffraction? So here the conditions for the X-ray diffraction is 2d sin theta, and why we are using the X-rays to study the crystal structure means the wavelength of the X-rays and the distance or the lattice planes spacing, interplanar spacing, both are nearly equal. So that's why we are using the X-rays to study all these methods, all this to study the crystal structure. So in all the methods we are using the X-rays, that is Liouville method, rotating crystal method, powder crystal method. So here we are not studying about the Liouville method and rotating crystal method. So only we are going to discuss about the powder crystal method. So here the X-ray powder crystal method is a technique that is used to study the properties of the crystalline materials. So here what we are using is, we are using only the finely powdered polycrystalline material, so which is kept in the capillary tube. The powder X-ray diffraction method is a most convenient method for obtaining the diffraction data, so which can be conveniently employed for that identification and the characterization of the crystalline materials. Here the diffraction data of that materials can be find out. Here for a particular material the diffraction pattern will be unique, so that's why we are using this powder method. So here in powder method, so it is also known as a Debye and Serre method. So these two are the crystallographers who adopted this powder method to find out the crystal structure. Here this is also, powder method is also called as the Debye-Serre method, so which uses the finely powdered polycrystalline materials which is kept in a crystalline tube. This is the working of the powder method. So here this is the X-ray tube. So X-ray tube is used to produce the X-ray diffraction, X-rays. So these are the X-ray tube is used to produce the X-rays, and these X-rays are made to fall on the crystals. So after passing through the slits, so we are using this, we have to pass through the slits because we have to make this as monochromatic by passing through the slits. Here in this powder method we are using the powdered specimen. Here all the crystals are finely powdered polycrystalline material we are using instead of a single crystal. So we have in earlier experiments, that is in Bragg spectrometer or rotating crystal method or Liouville method, we are using the single crystal, but there is need to rotate the crystals. But here there is no need to rotate the crystals because it is already in the powdered form. the orientation of that powders is in all the direction, so that's why it can produce the diffraction patterns in many patterns. So that's why we are using this powder method, is very convenient to study the crystal structure. Here, whenever the X-rays tube produces the monochromatic X-rays, a narrow beam of monochromatic X-ray is allowed to fall on the capillary tube. Whenever the X-rays or falls on this, it diffracts in all the possible direction whenever it obeys the X-ray diffraction condition, that is 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda. So whenever the crystal in this capillary tube, it satisfies the conditions of Bragg's diffraction, then these atoms diffract the X-rays and this scatters in all the possible direction, and so there is a small hole, so which is undeviated X-rays passed through this hole, and we will get a diffraction pattern. Here the diffraction pattern is shown here. So in this circular photographic film, so it forms the cone. The diffracted rays forms a cone. So this is the first cone, and this is second cone, and this is third cone, like that. So we will get a diffraction patterns like that only. So it forms a cone, and the diffraction pattern is also, so we are getting in particular cone shape only. So this is the theta is equal to 0 degree, and this is theta is equal to 90 degree. In between that, so we are getting a circular number of circular rings. The photographic plate shows the diffraction pattern, and the linear diffraction pattern is formed as a detector scans through an arc that intersects each Debye cone at a single point. So thus it gives an appearance of the diffraction peak. By analyzing the pattern and the peaks, so we can study the properties of the crystal. So here what we are observing is this is the peak, so we are getting here. So this peak is high, and these are the peaks are low compared to this. So here by analyzing this pattern, we can study the interplanar distance. Whenever the interplanar distance is more between the planes, then the peaks will be high, and whenever the interplanar distance is less, so we get a particular corresponding peaks in the graph. So which is plotting against that is the intensity versus glancing angle, so we will get this peak. So in today's sessions we have studied about the Bragg spectrometer and the powder crystal method. Thank you all.